If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, I have a YouTube channel, like everyone else. I have these giant headphones on, and I know headphones are just everyone has headphones because everyone has a podcast. But they make me look like a helicopter pilot. I've got these glasses and the headphones, and I feel like I'm about to fly a helicopter. Anyway, before I answer the three questions, the first question is: saw my boyfriend's ex's nudes by accident after 3 years of dating. She saw this on his phone. Take it personal, or is it none of my business? Question 2: is it possible I'm too comfortable being single at 38? And then my third question I want to answer today in this episode is what to do when we love each other on every level, but are very toxic when things are bad. But before I get to my questions, a little housekeeping. And I think housekeeping, and also I wanted to share a revelation. I don't know if it's a revelation. I guess it's a revelation. Well, the housekeeping is I've been doing these inner city retreats, which I've done a few times throughout my therapist career, and I just love playing with Los Angeles as the landscape, and then bringing the retreat to you, meaning you fly in, and I bring a small team, and I do the whole somatic / group processing / with you instead of at you. And if we're going to talk about life, let's do life while we're talking thing, while we're eating at amazing restaurants, drinking good coffee, and doing things like ice plunges and rock climbing. Anyway, what a great sandbox to play in, Los Angeles. And I've been doing this recently more. And so if you're interested, just email me. This is something that's very customized, and I could do one person or I could do 6, right? And of course, one person would be a lot more expensive. But this is a high ticket item because I'm putting an entire team together, blocking myself out for 3 days, and we're doing a lot of activities. And so my email is very simple. It's theangrytherapist@gmail.com. If you're coming to Los Angeles or you want to hang out with me and you want me to design something for you, depending on what you're going through, just send me an email. Okay, my revelation is, when people say, and I've said this many times, the 2 words that I think a lot of people, they get very, I don't know what the word is, but when it comes to relationships, when you use the word compromise or sacrifice, especially these days, not so much the boomers, because I feel like they did a lot of compromise and sacrifice in their relationships to the detriment of their own self. So they not only sacrificed, but they sacrificed self. They not only compromised it, but they compromised self, right? And so, of course, we today are swinging the other way, and we're saying, listen, we should not lose ourselves in relationships. We should not sacrifice ourselves or compromise ourselves. That being said, every relationship, of course, requires compromise. And my revelation and my tip is, instead of seeing that you are sacrificing for someone else or compromising something for someone else, because that is just going to lead to resentment, right? You are actually sacrificing for this thing that you are building that's bigger than both of you. And that has helped me tremendously, because when you think about it that way, you're not making it about like, okay, I'm going to do this for you. What are you going to do for me? You don't see that relationship as lopsided. You don't see quote unquote sacrifices or compromises as something that you are giving up or minimizing for someone else, right? Instead, you're contributing something to this thing that's greater than you. If you're a business person, you're building a company with your partner, right? And you guys are both sacrificing time, effort, energy, whatever it may be, or compromising time, energy, for this thing that you're building. And so if it helps, it's a company, it's a startup. I like to see it more through a spiritual lens. So it is a container, a space that my partner and I are building that is greater than both of us. And that thing that we're building impacts more than both of us. So not only our child, but I think our friends, I think people around us, I think especially in our line of work, it's going to help us help other people, right? So I think indirectly your relationship that you're building impacts so much more than just you. Okay, so that's my little rant. If anything, just a reminder to reframe, and when you're building a relationship, that you're not sacrificing or compromising self. You are contributing to something greater, right? Okay. This is a fun question. Saw my boyfriend's ex's nudes by accident. I'm assuming on his phone, and been dating for 3 years. Should I take it personally, or is it none of my business? Okay, so this question I picked because it's going to instantly activate a lot of people, and you're going to judge it very fast, right? Finding nudes, especially your ex's nudes or his ex's nudes on his phone, you're going to feel, of course, betrayed, angry. Well, my first question is this: are those photos new? Like, did he recently receive those photos? Because that's very different than old photos that are in his phone that you happen to see. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just saying those are two very different things, right? One is current and one is in the past. So that's gonna determine my answer. It's gonna sway my answer. So if these are new photos, if you are finding text or in your boyfriend's phone library, and by the way, why are you looking at your boyfriend's phone? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you just, walking across the kitchen and you saw his phone and you saw a text, or, I mean, it had to have been a text, because if not, you're digging into his photos and seeing these, right? So like, I'm a big believer that we should not, we don't have the right to go through our partner's personal stuff, phones, purses, wallets, whatever. And I just had a moment where I felt old saying wallets, because no one carries wallets anymore. If you find yourself, because remember when we used to have, men especially had these thick wallets, and we would carry them in our back pocket, and the outline of that pocket was faded because of the hump of the wallet. And also remember when you were driving, your ass was always like, it just felt like a stone in your shoe, but the wallet in your back pocket always made you feel very uncomfortable, and we just took it. We never took the wallet out. We just took it. We're like, fuck it. It's the wallet. I don't want to reach and grab this thing out. And so I don't know about you, but my wallet, because you just add credit cards and it just becomes this thick notes and receipts and shit, and it's this thick hard pad that we stick into our back pocket, and makes our ass lopsided while we're driving. Anyway, no more wallets. No more wallets. Who carries a wallet these days? No one. Our asses are happier these days, especially men. What was I saying? No, I remember what I was saying. So, you shouldn't look in people's phones. You just shouldn't. And I know I'm going to get pushback, because some people think because someone did untrusting behavior, because trust was broken, now I have a right? And I get it. I get what you're saying. Okay, my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, cheated on me, so now I can go into their that gives me a right now to go into their private spaces, diaries, journals, phones, whatever, right? I have full access to my partner. Well, here's what you're doing. By doing that, you are not allowing trust to build. So you are actually breaking trust, assuming your partner is not cool with that. And most partners are not cool with people invading their personal space, even if they broke trust, even if they did something that broke the trust. I get it. But if you're moving toward healing, You can't then say, because you did that, now I get to do this. I mean, you can, but what's going to happen is trust isn't going to be built, right? So I always get these questions where it's like, yeah, I went through my brother's phone, my brother, my boyfriend, or maybe brother, I don't know. I went through my boyfriend's phone, and whatever, I found this, or I went through my girlfriend's bag and I found this, and it's like I just stop at you went through, you invaded someone's personal space. Why are you doing that? Why is that allowed? And do you know that in itself is breaking trust, right? Anyway, so if these photos are new, then yes, it involves a conversation, right? But here's the thing. Here's what I encourage. You got to put a speed bump. Go take a breath. Most people are going to jump at this, and they're going to pull from emotion, which is rage, maybe if not rage, at least anger, accusations, and just like this can be very black and white, where you're like, I found something, you're caught, it's over, right? And I would first investigate and go do something where you're going to be able to just kind of not pull from an emotional space. So go for a walk, go take a breath, call a friend, like whatever. Well, maybe not call a friend because our friends can definitely be lighter fluid to our fire instead of calming us, because our friends are very protective, right? So take a walk, come back, and say, listen, I found these photographs, and then you know what your boyfriend's probably gonna say? What the fuck are you looking in my phone? Or they're gonna accuse, they're being defensive and they're gonna accuse you of something. But be curious before pointing the finger. That's my biggest note, my biggest tip. Just be curious. What is happening here? I found these, and maybe there's a story that you didn't know was happening. Maybe it's not the obvious. Maybe she sent these photos without permission. Like, who knows, right? So give your partner a chance to explain. And then express how you feel about this. And then ask yourself what you would need. Do you need space? Do you need to do a couple session? Like what do you need, right? And then I think it would be a great way to kind of reboot or reset the relationship with some new goals. This is going to expose not only a lot of feelings, but it might be telling where the relationship is at. Maybe people have been drifting. I'm not saying this is okay, but if you're looking through your boyfriend's phone, and if your boyfriend is receiving or collecting or having nude photos of ex-girlfriends, that's, to me, that's telling that there's something wrong with the relationship, right? And so it can definitely be a black light ran over the relationship, saying, listen, there are some signs. Here's one big sign. So let's have some hard conversations. All right. Now, if the photos were from way back in the day, and I gotta say, if they were, I'm curious how you found those photos, because you got to do some digging, right? And so I would explore that behavior as well. But then the conversation is, do you guys, and you guys make the rules, are you guys okay with having photos of your exes or nudes of your exes in your photo library? I would say most people are not. If you were to ask me, I mean, because there's a big difference between naked photos of our exes and just like, random photos of our exes. I personally would have no problem with my partner having photos of her exes, of events and concerts and stuff. I mean, my partner has a gazillion photos. She doesn't delete anything. I don't have a problem with that. Now, would I have a problem with her having photos of naked pictures of of her ex-boyfriends? I would want to know why she would want them. I would want to know what she's doing with them. I would want to know why it's important for her to have naked photos of her boyfriend, right? But yeah, that's a different thing, and I don't. I don't think I would be okay with that. But like, look, at the end of the day, it's her phone, it's her business. Like, I would express that, yeah, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it, but I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't set ultimatums. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't say this in my 20s or 30s, right? There would be a lot more harder lines. I'm 51, and it's like, if someone's with me, they're with me, and I place more value on our engagement, and what the quality of the relationship is like, more than um, what they do in their personal space or time, right? But yes, there is a big difference between naked photos of exes or just photos of exes in general. You know. Okay, next question. Is it possible I'm too comfortable being single at 38? This is a really interesting question. I like this because most people at 38 are not comfortable being single, right? Most people are hearing that loud ticking clock, um, created by society, that we should, at this age or at a certain age, should be married or partnered, running toward a picket fence, having kids, all of that, right? That pressure. And I gotta say, what a damaging. It's been so damaging. I think, and thank God these days we're ignoring that and we're living life more on our terms. We're having kids later when we feel ready. I had a child at 46. I had a child at 46 years old. And I'll be honest with you, I could not have had a child at 36. I could not have had a child at 41. And also, I wouldn't have a child at 47. Like, it was the when Indiana Jones grabs his hat right before the door closes. That's what it was like for me. Um, I'm very okay with me having a child at 46. I think I'm a better dad today than before, where I didn't have the tools, capacity, patience. And still, it's really hard, right? But is it possible to be too comfortable being single? Well, I would explore what you mean by comfortable, because I think, if we get too comfortable at any age, uh, we can become stagnant, right? So in all areas of our life, whether we are too comfortable in our work, um, in our relationships, in our, like, anything, I think any space in our life where we are not challenged in a healthy way, can get us to just be on cruise control, right? So if you're single and you're really not doing anything with your life, if you're like just kind of punching a clock, going through the motions, um, then 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 I think that is too comfortable. I think you should challenge yourself, uh, just to get closer to your potential. You know, I would explore, um, meaning in your life. I would take on personal challenges, try to accomplish goals. And it doesn't matter if it's like, oh, I want to run a half marathon one day, or I want to, um, hit some fitness goals, or I want to build an empire, or I want to, whatever you want to do, write a book, um, learn a new craft, travel. All these things usually challenge us and kind of, push us out of our comfort zones. And so, but in a good, healthy way, right? And so, I think when you're single, um, you should do a lot of this stuff. Get uncomfortable. I remember when I was single, one of my longest stretches of being single, maybe I think it was like 5 years. Um, I did a lot of things that were uncomfortable, challenges to myself. Now, of course, um, I also enjoyed some comfort, right? Like, you don't want to constantly be uncomfortable and activated, and you got to gauge what that looks like for you, what's healthy, what's not. But I went somewhere. I have this running joke that I've never been anywhere because I never thought travel. I thought travel was like something you do once you become quote unquote successful. So, um, it's kind of embarrassing. But all the way up until 35, I really never traveled. I tell people the furthest I went to is, like, I've been to Reseda in Orange County. If you don't live in Los Angeles, you're not going to know what that means. But basically 40 minutes away. So after my divorce, I was like, I gotta go somewhere. And it was very uncomfortable. I didn't have the money. I didn't want to do it. Um, and I said, fuck it, I'm doing it. And so I went to Italy, went to Florence, and one of the best experiences of my life. I think for like a week. I didn't go by myself, but I mean, it was like if you looked at my passport, 0 stamps. Maybe one stamp. Me coming from Korea to America when I was 3, maybe. Um, so it was like actually, I've been to like Tijuana and I've been to closer places out of the country, Mexico for sure. But it was like my second or third stamp. I was very proud that I made the decision. Anyway, my point is, when you're single, you should do a lot of things that push you out of your comfort zone in a good and healthy way to challenge you, to stretch you, ultimately to connect you back to yourself. And I gotta say, it's harder to do this shit when you're in a relationship. You should continue to, of course, but it's harder to just because of time and wanting to spend time with your partner. And um, I think it's just one of the things that's just natural when you decide to get into a relationship and spend more time with someone and invest in something. Uh, I mean, of course, you can still do things like travel, but it's just harder. It's just harder. Um, so yeah, being comfortable when you're single, of course, periods of comfort is okay and healthy, but overall, when you're single, get busy, being uncomfortable. And also, discomfort can also be sitting in therapy rooms and um, working through a lot of things that you need to work through, as far as a lot of wounds, childhood stuff, and um, how you show up in relationships. And you're basically you're not working on yourself for someone else, but you are working on yourself so you show up in your next relationship a different person, which will give yourself a brand new relationship / love experience. You know. Okay, last question. What do you do what to do when we love each other on every level, but are very toxic when things are bad? This is also very common. Um, well, here's the thing. If you're toxic when things are bad, which tells me that you guys don't have the ability to repair in a healthy way, then you don't love each other on every level. That's a huge level. That's like the lobby. That's like the lobby of a building. A lot of people think like if a building was a relationship, right? Love. Um, People think the lobby is chemistry, connection, all of that, hot sex, whatever. Yes, those are important. I think that's like maybe the first floor, maybe the first or second floor. The lobby is the ability you both have to repair after ruptures, meaning the ability to fight without fighting. If you don't have that ability, like this person is saying in this question, that when things are toxic, when things are bad, they're really bad, right? Which tells me people are throwing chairs, people are being defensive. Um, there's there's no, because it's not about how many times we fight, it's about how we fight. So there's going to be ruptures no matter what. There's no perfect relationship. You guys are going to have conflict, disagreements. And if you don't, there's also a high chance that people are just shoving shit down, and so um, that doesn't disappear, right? And so what I call that is people doing life around each other instead of with. So the lobby, the ground floor, is the ability to fight without fighting, the ability to repair, because there's going to be ruptures. There are supposed to be ruptures. If your relationship, and so many people brag about how they never fight, when I hear that, I feel like, oh, so you guys aren't really growing. You guys are you guys are just comfortable. Just nothing but just lots of just kissing and great moments and starry eyes looking at each other, which are great and necessary, but also it's in the conflict, the hard conversations. It's in people challenging the other, and then both people taking responsibility to look at their own peace right, in the relationship. It's that stuff that gets us to grow. It's hard, but that's the rich growth soil. And so if people are not fighting and there is no conflict, then I actually worry about the relationship, right? Fighting conflict is okay. Now, what's important is how you fight. What's important is that the repair is there, the ability to repair, right? And I think that there are tools required, you know? One of the things that has helped me tremendously in every conflict is the mantra to try to understand before trying to be understood. And I say this because most of my life, most of my 20s and 30s, I was a walking reaction, also a walking erection. There's a there's a song called what is that song? There's a 90s hip hop song called, I don't know what it's called, but the lyric says I'm more than, it's a DOS effects. I'm more than my erection or something like that. Something about him being more than his erection. And I remember that lyric because I was I think in my 40s was like, oh, I could finally say that. I could finally say that I'm more than my boner. It was a sign of growth. I was very proud that I could say that. My partners may disagree. But anyway, yes, I was a walking reaction. And in all the fights that I had with my exes, I would try to be understood before trying to understand. And even when they were talking, I would be not listening, but thinking about my comeback, right? I was a lawyer in a courtroom trying to prove a case. And that does not make people feel safe. And that is not an example of healthy repair. So I'm sure you've heard it before because I talk about it all the time. The mantra of trying to understand before trying to be understood. Now, when two people are doing that, it flips the magnet back. It creates a safe space. People being seen, understood, and heard is required. It's required. It's not extra. That's like the just fruits and vegetables. Protein. That's for the relationship. You have to always do everything you can to make your partner feel seen, heard, understood. Now, not all of it is on you, but that's the intention, that's the effort, especially when we're in conflict, right? Because it makes people feel safe. Now, fighting can also create connection. The repair piece can actually make people feel closer. So there's a lot of value. And so when people say, "Oh, we never fight," I also feel like, "Oh, so then you guys don't have opportunities to get closer. You guys may be having a lot of great times, but are you guys really bonding, understanding each other, growing, evolving on a deeper level?" You know, I don't know if that's possible without conflict and healthy repair. Ruptures, healthy repair. Thank you for listening. Check out my YouTube. I'm putting videos on there like everyone else. And if you want me to customize a inner city retreat, I would love to. Just send me an email. theangrytherapist@gmail.com. It does cost money. It's not free. It's not free. It's my high ticket item that I'm actually really I get really excited about. Be well.